All right, guys, I got to talk about this. It's kind of a sad thing, sad occasion to talk about. Let me go ahead and talk about this. This is DJ Wolf Live. All right, guys, let me go ahead and go into it. I just happened to be going into the online, looking at the local news stuff. I do that almost every day anyway. And I just happened to read that legendary comedian and sometimes actor, comedy writer, Paul Mooney had passed away at the age of 79. He, along with the late great Richard Pryor, had put reality and comedy starting in the late 60s, talking about everything to do with race. And Paul Mooney had continued to doing that in not only in his comedy routines, but in many of the series that he was the head writer for and wrote scripts for. I didn't even know that he was a head writer for 11 Color. I never knew that. Wow. No wonder 11 Color was so cutting edge. He made that happen. Of course, he was also head writer of his fellow comedian Richard Pryor's television show. And he also was once a head writer for Sanford & Son and Good Times and even, I think, the Chappelle Show, where he played Negro Damas, one of his last great bits that I recall. That was funny as hell. But I was a big fan of Paul Mooney. Some people said he wasn't quite as famous as Richard Pryor. I beg to differ. Paul Mooney was almost about as famous as Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor had more than notoriety, but Paul Mooney was as famous as Richard Pryor because of his writing alone, let alone his stand-up. But his writing alone made him legendary to me. He helped change the face of black comedy, man. He was a pioneer at it. He really was, because he did the kind of comedy that allowed many black comedians didn't do. Other than Dick Gregory. And Dick Gregory was known of doing that in-your-face type of comedy, and then later on, Richard Pryor did the same thing. And Paul Mooney, with his writing, put it over the top. So they were fearless in terms of the type of comedy that they did, because the type of comedy they did came out with a purpose behind it. You know, telling you in humorous terms about the black experience. Kind of like what George Carlin did with his type of comedy. His comedy was very much in your face too. And I have also been a big fan of George Carlin too. I love the comedy of George Carlin. Another legendary, but nevertheless, Paul Mooney was always in your face all the time, 24/7. He did not care. He just didn't care. He was going to put it out there and make you like it, and you did. Many times over. It was funny as hell. A dude that was crafty in his comedy, very sharp with it, in your face, and didn't care if you liked it or not. But he's going to make you like it anyway. That's the kind of comedian he was. Didn't care if you got offended. But it's a good thing we had guys like Paul Mooney, who did what he did. You know, a lot of black comedians wouldn't have been able to take the step to do the kind of comedy they did for Paul Mooney or Richard Pryor. That's for damn sure. They were, you know, there were virtually almost no major comedians that were doing the kind of comedy that Paul Mooney and Richard Pryor did at the time. As a comedy, you know, writer and comedian. You know, they set the standard. They really did. And Paul Mooney was at the helm of the standard. Not only for comedians in terms of stand-up, but in terms of a dialogue that was put out on a number of black television shows, particularly a number of black sitcoms. He set the standard for that. He was the standard bearer. No doubt about that. And his legacy will live on through future generations of comedians with that cutting-edge brand of comedy. Will it be like Paul Mooney? I doubt it. The mold's been broken. There'll never be another Paul Mooney, bottom line. Because he was the guy that set the trend. He set the standard. He set the standard to something now that's pretty much the norm. So, no, there will never ever be another Paul Mooney. That's not gonna happen. At least I don't think it's so in my lifetime or generations to come. That's all I got, guys. To the memory of Paul Mooney. My heart goes out to his family. It really does. He was one of a kind comedy writer and comedian that broke the mold in black comedy. Period. I'm out.